and dangerous day. When most people hear those words, their mind tightens, the body reacts even before the meaning settles. It's as if the mere mention of the word dangerous is enough to create a barrier in the heart. But what makes a day dangerous? Is it the events that may unfold? Is it the threat of loss, failure, fear, or confrontation? Or is it perhaps that on such a day we are forced to confront a part of ourselves we usually hide? You see, the mind often seeks comfort. It constructs routines and habits so it can predict what's coming next. It clings to familiarity like a child holds onto their parent in the dark. But life is not always meant to be comfortable. Life is a flow of changing seasons, of storms and calms, of expansion and contraction. And some days, like 17 July, the so-called dangerous day, come not to punish us, but to wake us up. A dangerous day is not your enemy. It is a mirror. It shows you what is truly inside, not the version of yourself you present to the world when everything is smooth and easy. No, it reveals the self beneath that mask, the self that trembles, the self that doubts, the self that must choose between collapsing or rising. And most importantly, it shows you that these two paths are always within reach. Always. Even when you feel cornered, even when you feel like all control is lost, there remains a small, sacred space between what happens and how you respond. That space is your spirit. And that space can expand only when you allow it to. When you stand in front of the mirror that the dangerous day holds up to you, what do you see? Maybe you see exhaustion. Maybe you see fear. Maybe you see shame, regret, or anger. Or maybe, if you look long enough, beyond the immediate reactions of the body and the noise of the mind, you begin to see something else. Stillness. A quiet observer inside you who is watching all of this unfold, yet remains untouched. That quiet observer, that awareness, it is your true self. It is not afraid of the dangerous day. It does not need to run, nor fight, nor pretend. It only needs you to recognize it and return to it. So the first shift must occur in your perception. Do not say, why is this happening to me? Instead ask, what am I being shown that I normally ignore? The storm is never just outside. The storm is a reflection of inner turbulence. And if a day comes that stirs up the storm, it is not because life is unfair, but because life is intelligent. Life gives you the experiences you need to refine your character, to deepen your understanding, and to sharpen your clarity. The obstacle is not in the way. The obstacle is the way. There is a teaching in the Shaolin tradition: the more you sweat in training, the less you bleed in battle. But there is more than just martial practice in that. It is about preparing the mind for what is unpredictable. It is about making the inner world strong and resilient so that the outer world cannot shake it so easily. On a dangerous day, your training is tested. The disciplines you cultivated, the mindfulness you practiced, the breath you focused on in quiet times, they must now rise. This is why we train, not for when things are perfect, but for when they are not. Let us not romanticize the dangerous day, though. It is difficult. It may bring situations you would never wish for. It may expose pain that has been buried deep. But even in this, there is a blessing, because nothing that is hidden can be healed. The dangerous day does not come to crush you. It comes to reveal what you have outgrown. It shows you where you have been holding on to illusions, attachments, beliefs, and habits that no longer serve you. Sometimes people ask, how do I know if I am on the right path? And the answer is not always clarity or peace. Sometimes the sign that you are truly evolving is that your life begins to shake. The structures you leaned on no longer support you. The people around you begin to shift. Your routines feel hollow. That is not collapse, it is transformation. Like a seed breaking open in the soil. From the outside it looks like destruction. From the inside it is birth. On 17 July or on any day that tests you, you are invited to enter this process consciously. When you feel overwhelmed, pause, do not resist, breathe, step back from the emotion and ask, what am I really afraid of right now? Trace the fear to its root. Is it fear of failure, of being seen, of losing something? Once you identify the root, you begin to regain your power, because no fear can dominate a mind that observes it. Fear thrives in shadows. It loses strength in the light of awareness. It is not enough to survive a dangerous day. You must also grow from it. What does growth mean? It means you become more conscious of your reactions. It means you develop a deeper trust in yourself. It means you no longer need to control everything around you, because you have cultivated stillness within. The power of the monk is not that he avoids suffering, it is that he walks into suffering with a steady heart, knowing that pain is not the end, it is the beginning of awakening. And so, the mirror this day holds up to you is not one of judgment, it is one of clarity. You are not being punished, you are being seen, not by others, but by yourself. And that self you see, even if it feels weak, even if it is hurting, even if it wants to run, that self is worthy of love. That self needs your compassion, not your criticism. You do not become stronger by rejecting your pain. You become stronger by embracing it and learning what it came to teach you. Most people never reach their potential because they are too busy running away from discomfort. But every master, every awakened being, every wise elder you admire, they all walked through days like this. They all faced danger, not with arrogance, but with humility and presence. They did not become fearless, they became familiar with fear. And they stopped letting it control their lives. Can you sit in the discomfort without needing to escape? Can you be still in the chaos and not lose your center? That is your training. That is the spiritual path. You don't have to be perfect. You only have to be present. Watch yourself. Feel the tension. Feel the breath move through the tightness. And realize this too is part of the practice. The world may not understand your silence, your calm, your inward focus on a day like this. But you are not here to be understood by the world. You are here to understand yourself, to know who you are beyond the noise, to remember the one who is unshaken beneath the shaking. And that memory only arises when all distractions are removed. The dangerous day removes them. It pulls the rug from under you, so you must find balance, not in the outer world, but in your own breath. And when the day is done, when the sky darkens and the storm calms, you will find that something within you has changed. Not because you avoided the challenge, but because you met it. And in meeting it, you met yourself. So, on 17 July or on any day that arrives with intensity, do not ask for it to pass quickly. Ask for the strength to remain awake inside it. Ask not for the path to be smooth, but for your steps to become more mindful. Ask not for ease, but for depth. Because only through the mirror of the dangerous day do you see who you are truly meant to become. In the end, the purpose of the test is not to prove anything to the world. It is to reveal everything to yourself. The path of the inner warrior, the path of the mindful practitioner, the path of truth, it is not a path of avoidance. It is a path of courage, of breath, of stillness inside motion. And when you learn to look into the mirror that a day like this provides and no longer turn away, you will know. The day was never dangerous, it was sacred. The test was never against you, it was for you. And the mirror was never empty. It was always reflecting the warrior within. Your inner warrior is not born from comfort. It is not awakened by applause, by praise, or by ease. Your inner warrior sleeps when life is soft. It only stirs when the world presses against you, when the weight becomes too heavy to carry casually, when you are brought to the edge of your patience, your strength, your beliefs. This is when the forging begins. The pressure is not a mistake. It is the method. In the martial path, we learn that the warrior is not the strongest in appearance. He is not loud. He does not seek conflict. He is quiet, disciplined, grounded. His strength is invisible until it is tested, and it is only under great pressure that what is hidden inside becomes visible to the outside. In the same way that the sword must be placed in fire to be shaped, your inner strength must be summoned in moments of adversity. Pressure is not something to escape. It is something to step into with awareness. The problem is, most people believe that struggle is a sign of failure. They think that if life is difficult, something is wrong. But this is a misunderstanding. Struggle does not mean you are failing. It means you are growing. It means that life has seen your potential and is calling it forward. The Shaolin Way teaches us to embrace the challenge. When a monk is in training, he is not seeking peace. He is seeking mastery. And mastery only arises when the body and mind are placed in conditions where the old habits no longer work. You can only master your breath when you are out of breath. You can only master your mind when the noise becomes unbearable. And you can only master your spirit when the fire around you threatens to burn everything to the ground. So when the day comes like 17 July that carries with it tension, conflict, confusion, you must remember this. The day is not against you. The pressure you feel is the very thing awakening the strength inside you that has remained unused, untouched. You are being asked to remember what you forgot, that you are powerful beyond the version of yourself you live daily, that within you is a depth of discipline, of courage, of stillness that cannot be accessed in easy times. To be forged in pressure means to allow the weight to shape you. It means to stop fighting against difficulty and start cooperating with it. Like clay in the hands of the sculptor, you must allow life to mold you. When pressure comes, breathe deeper. When conflict rises, become more still. When you are criticized, do not defend yourself. Listen, not to agree, but to understand what in you still reacts. The warrior is not concerned with being right. He is concerned with being clear. Every reaction you feel when pressure comes, anger, fear, anxiety, is a message. It is the sound of the ego trying to protect its structure. But the inner warrior does not move from ego. He moves from presence. He is not rushed by emotion. He is not carried by thought. He breathes, he observes, and then he acts. Not from panic, but from principle. That is the difference between one who is forged by pressure and one who is broken by it. And here is a truth that many ignore. Pressure is a privilege. Not everyone gets to face the kind of challenges that wake up their potential. Many people live their entire lives protected by smallness, by mediocrity, by routines that require nothing of them. They are never asked to go deeper because they never allow themselves to step outside the familiar. But when you say yes to the journey of self-mastery, life begins to test you. Not to destroy you, but to reveal you. When the pressure builds, you may feel like you're drowning. But the warrior knows that even drowning has a lesson. He lets go of the fight against the water and becomes still. And in that stillness, he finds the rhythm. The same is true in your life. When everything seems too much, when the weight is unbearable, when your plans fall apart, and the ground beneath you shifts, do not rush to escape, do not collapse. Sit in the pressure. Feel it. Let it strip away what is false. Let it strip away what you no longer need. Because this is what pressure does. It burns away the unnecessary. It melts the armor you wear for the world. It removes the false strength that depends on conditions. And what remains? The real you. The you that does not need approval. The you that does not need control. The you that can sit in the storm without closing your eyes. The warrior within you who knows that survival is not the goal, awakening is. You must be willing to suffer consciously. That means when pain comes, you do not complain, you do not numb it, you study it, you let it teach you, you let it move you inward, and you ask, what in me is being purified? What must I release in order to rise? Pain is not punishment. It is process. It is how the soul sharpens itself. You must learn to bow before it, not in defeat, but in respect. There is no shortcut to becoming the person you were born to be. You must walk through the valley. You must face the mirror. You must allow pressure to reveal your weaknesses so you may transform them. The warrior is not born in theory. He is born in practice. He is born in those quiet moments when no one is watching, but he still shows up. He is born in the repetition of breathing through discomfort, of waking before the sun, of doing what must be done even when he feels like quitting. Every day you are presented with small moments of pressure. Every time you are asked to wait, to listen, to hold your tongue, to let go of being right, to take the high road. That is your training. And when the larger pressure comes, you will not be surprised. Because you have already prepared your spirit, you have already strengthened your mind. You have already rehearsed grace under fire. If you treat every challenge as a curse, you remain stuck. But if you see it as a gift, everything changes. Pressure reveals your inner resistance. And once it is revealed, it can be worked with. When you feel impatience, work with it. When you feel fear, study it. When you feel jealousy, investigate it. All of these are parts of the self that are waiting to be seen, embraced, transformed. They are not enemies. They are invitations. You do not become a warrior by conquering the world. You become one by conquering the constant noise in your own head. You become one by learning to act from wisdom, not impulse. You become one by choosing stillness over reaction. And this is only possible when pressure is present, when you are tested, when your plan falls apart, and you must lean on inner clarity rather than outer control. Most people think power is loud, that it comes from domination, but true power is quiet. It comes from deep alignment, from the ability to be unmoved by chaos, to walk into the day, no matter how dangerous it seems, and carry with you the presence of one who knows who they are. That presence cannot be faked. It must be earned through discipline, through humility, through relentless self-observation. So when pressure visits you, welcome it. Do not ask, how can I make this stop? Ask instead, what is this shaping in me? Allow yourself to be forged piece by piece until the one who emerges is no longer dependent on comfort, but is ready, fully ready, to carry the weight of purpose. You are not weak. You are not broken. You are simply being asked to uncover the deeper layers of strength that live within you. The strength that does not shout. The strength that does not rush. The strength that does not collapse when the world becomes uncertain. You are a warrior, but not a warrior who fights others. A warrior who watches his own mind. A warrior who trains his body to serve, not to dominate. A warrior who breathes through the fire, walks through the storm, and carries silence where others carry noise. And when the pressure becomes too much, when it feels like you cannot go on, you remember, it is in this very moment that the forging happens. Steel does not become steel in lukewarm water. It must enter the fire, and so must you. Again and again, until you no longer fear the pressure, until you welcome it as the path itself. There is nothing wrong with being tested. There is nothing wrong with feeling tired. What matters is how you respond. Will you give up, or will you go inward? Will you numb, or will you awaken? Will you harden, or will you open? These are the choices that define whether the pressure destroys you or delivers you to your higher self. Breathe. Slow down. Let the fire do its work. Let the pressure shape your posture, your patience, your presence. And when the day ends, you will see you did not break. You were forged, not into someone new, but into who you truly are. And when the next day of pressure comes, you will meet it with quiet confidence. Not because you are invincible, but because you are prepared. Because your spirit has learned not to flinch. Because the warrior within you is no longer asleep. He is awake. watching, breathing, walking the path one mindful step at a time. When we speak of a dangerous day like 17 July, we are not speaking of external catastrophe alone. What we are truly addressing is the internal challenge such a day brings, the friction it creates within the spirit, the way it forces a mirror to be held to your mind, your emotions, your attachments. And so I tell you this. Every challenge that arises on this day is not simply an obstacle. It is a teacher, a lesson in disguise, an opportunity wearing the clothes of adversity. We live most of our lives reacting to events, to words, to results. But true growth does not begin with reaction, it begins with reflection. And for that reflection to occur, something must disrupt the rhythm of your normal thinking. That disruption often arrives in the form of a challenge, something unexpected, something that brings discomfort. And in that discomfort, you are invited to learn, not about the world, but about yourself. If you walk through this day with only the intention to avoid difficulty, you will miss the lesson. But if you walk through it with awareness, every difficulty becomes a doorway. When something goes wrong, ask yourself, what am I clinging to that no longer serves me? When someone offends you, ask, what inside me still needs validation? When plans collapse, ask, was I placing my peace in something outside myself? These are not surface questions. These are questions that bring you